The snap of a foot striking a pad echoed through the dojo like a gunshot. All eyes turned to the center mat where two identical black boys, barely 13, stood calmly, facing off against three senior black belts. One of them, Drexel, tall and broad-shouldered at 17, sneered as he cracked his neck. "You two think you're tough because you beat a few upper belts? Let's see how you handle the real thing." Malik didn't blink. He stood half a step ahead of his twin, Miles. Always had. Miles, silent as ever, rolled his shoulders back and nodded once. "We're not here to prove anything," Malik said, his voice quiet but firm. "Oh, but you will," Drexel hissed. Sensei Bryant leaned against the far wall, arms crossed, eyes unreadable. Everyone expected him to stop this. He didn't. Bow. The match began with silence. No cheering, no coaching. Just raw tension. Within seconds, fists flew, feet swept the mat, and the gym watched in breathless awe. These boys weren't ordinary. And in moments, everyone would understand just how much they had underestimated them. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, and share this story with friends. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing how far our story travels. Malik and Miles grew up on the south side of Atlanta, in a two-bedroom apartment above their father's auto shop. Their mother, Alana, worked nights at the hospital while studying to become a nurse practitioner. It was a life that demanded grit. Their father, Keith, had once trained for the Olympic boxing team before a knee injury ended his dreams. He never pushed his sons into combat sports, but when Malik came home one day with a black eye and refused to say who hit him, Keith quietly laid out 2 floor mats in the garage. He didn't say much, just, "This is where we learn to protect, not provoke." From then on, the garage became their sanctuary. Keith trained them in the art of discipline, boxing drills, breathing exercises, body control. When they turned 10, they started karate classes at a local community center. By 12, they were moved to the prestigious Midtown Karate Dojo, known for producing state-level competitors. The dojo was diverse in color, but not always in spirit. Most instructors meant well, but quiet black boys from the city didn't always get the benefit of the doubt. Malik and Miles learned to let their actions speak. They rarely smiled. They never showed off. They just trained. Within months, they began outpacing their age group, then their belt rank. They didn't gloat, they just moved on to the next challenge. Some parents began complaining quietly to the instructors. Words like too aggressive, uncoachable, or disrespectful floated around. But anyone who trained with them knew better. The twins were calm, focused, relentless in their study of movement and timing. Then came the week that shifted everything. First, Malik beat a brown belt in open sparring with a clean spinning hook kick. Then Miles submitted another senior with a fluid wrist lock. They didn't celebrate. They bowed, thanked their opponents, and walked off the mat. But Drexel saw it differently. He had spent 5 years climbing the ranks. He was used to respect and control. And these two were changing things. The dojo's whispers turned into murmurs of admiration for the twins. That didn't sit right with Drexel or his close circle of upper belts. So they challenged them. Not directly, of course. It came through Sensei Bryant in the form of a team-building exercise. 3 juniors would spar against 3 seniors. Friendly. Light contact. But the lineup said it all: Malik, Miles, and a younger girl from their class named Aisha, who, mysteriously, got pulled before the match. That night, as the class formed a ring around the center mat, the mood shifted. This wasn't an exercise. It was a setup. Drexel, flanked by 2 of his closest friends, both black belts, stood grinning like they were about to swat flies. Malik and Miles exchanged a look. "You sure?" Miles whispered. Malik gave the faintest nod. "We'll keep it clean. Until they don't. Begin." The storm began immediately. Drexel launched a flurry of strikes at Malik, who blocked and retreated, conserving energy. Miles ducked low, avoiding a knee and responding with a quick jab to the ribs. The crowd stirred. The black belts weren't holding back. A kick to Malik's side. An elbow dangerously close to Miles's temple. Whispers turned to outrage. "They're going full contact," someone hissed. Still, Sensei Bryant watched, unmoving. Then the shift happened. Malik parried a strike, stepped inside, and flipped his attacker with a hip throw. Miles intercepted another, redirecting him with a textbook sweep. In 30 seconds, it became clear, the twins weren't just surviving. They were controlling the fight. Drexel grew wild. He charged Malik with a spinning back fist, but Malik sidestepped and countered with a controlled strike to the sternum, knocking him back. Gasps filled the room. The third attacker hesitated. Miles stared him down. It doesn't have to end ugly. He lowered his guard. The match paused. Sensei Bryant stepped forward, finally speaking. What you just saw wasn't luck. It wasn't rebellion. It was mastery. The goal of martial arts isn't domination, it's control, humility, and balance. He turned to Drexel and the others. Let this be your lesson. The crowd clapped, not loudly, but with the reverence of understanding. Drexel avoided the twins' eyes. But a week later, he walked up to them after class. I was wrong, he muttered. You two, want to train together sometime? Malik extended a hand. Sure. Let's work. Because for them, this was never about proving they were the best. It was about becoming better, together. Moral of the story: never underestimate someone based on where they come from, how they look, or what they wear. True power lies in character, knowledge, and quiet strength. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you were Malik or Miles, what would you have done? If you haven't subscribed till now, please do. Your support means a lot. See you on our next story.